Good evening and welcome. This is English Talks. In today's world, information is everywhere. We can search, scroll, swipe, and even ask artificial intelligence for answers in seconds. Yet, despite having more information than ever before, many students still struggle. Not because they don't have access to knowledge, but because they haven't learned how to learn. Our guest today has spent more than 3 decades helping students discover exactly that. Professor Lakshaman Prasad is a distinguished educationist, currently the director at Jyoti Institute of Commerce and Management, Bengaluru. He has been a teacher, academic leader, curriculum designer, mentor, and resource person for the Karnataka Pre-University Education Department. But what perhaps defines him most is his unwavering belief that education can transform lives. Interestingly, he often says his own journey began not as a brilliant student, but as an average one, until a teacher's words changed his confidence forever. Since then, he has dedicated his life to ensuring that every student discovers the joy of learning. Even outside his professional responsibilities, he continues to volunteer his time teaching students through Yuvaka Sangha, carrying forward the ideals of his mentor, Anaya. Today, we'll explore a question that is becoming more relevant than ever. Learning to learn. Is it the most important skill of the 21st century? Professor Lakshaman Prasad, it's a pleasure to welcome you.
Coming to AR is a pleasure always.
Sir, today knowledge is available at our fingertips. Yet educators are increasingly saying that learning how to learn is the most valuable skill of the century. Why is learning itself becoming more important than simply having the information?
Learning has always been important, whether you have the information. Earlier, the issue was whatever the information was available was a delayed information. For example, the speed with which information is available today is a real-time thing. Secondly, the information which we were getting earlier, to be authenticated, it would take time. So we need to have the basics right. The fundamentals of learning continues to be the same. As long as you conceptually learn things, any information will be a waste. So your reading of books, unless you put into practice, will be of no use. So you have information, but to analyze and get to that basic, you need to know what it is. For example, I'm a student of account. An account is a summarized record of business transactions relating to a person, an asset, an expense or income. This is what is called, I call it as fundamental and conceptual. I think it was true any time and it will be true even in future as well.
No amount of information is relevant if you don't have the basic learning as to how can you use it.
Correct. Yeah. Exactly. Okay.
Sir, your own journeys prove that marks do not define destiny. Your intelligence changed, or did it change the way you learn?
It's most relevant, and I feel there is a trigger in everybody's life. When I was in 8th, my score in mathematics was 36 and my score in Kannada was 53. However, when I joined my college, I joined PES after opting for science. 1 month I studied science. Then I understood, definitely I will not do good in that. And later I changed to commerce, and that decision was taken by me. And one thing I would like to tell you today, it's not important what we take up, what we study, what we do. Once we make a decision, we have to be headstrong on the decision that we have taken. It's so important. It happened to me that way. So when I joined commerce from science, one day it so happened my teacher was English teacher by name Sujata. Madam was teaching wireless and broadcasting, and that is a part of the sound. So she was telling about how the waves move, sound waves. Then she asked the question in the class, what are these waves called? And students, all of them, they were not able to answer. For the first time, because I was from science background, I had recently left. I remembered. Crust I remembered, that highest point. The other point I did not remember. Then she insisted on me, tell me, like. So then I said, Prof. She was so happy and she started telling, get up, what is your name? That was for the first time in my life. I was getting a recognition from a teacher, and till then I was an unknown quantity. Then she said one sentence, if you are good at one thing, you will be good at everything. So that day I realized, oh, this is an. So you to ask your question, intelligence, I don't know about it, but it's about the passion. It's about the kind of belief that you get to somebody's praise. So this what happened to me, and from there, that day, I think my life has turned into an extraordinary. That journey and that day, it has happened some almost 40 years back. Still, it's evergreen in mind, and I keep telling my students also that this was my turning point. In that sense, yes, every student get that encouragement. I only appeal to teachers that there is that power in you which can change one's life, and not one's life, it's a life of millions of people. That's the influence of a teacher. That's with experience and with sincerity, I'm telling you.
So basically, they have to fall in love with learning.
Correct. Exactly.
And they have to believe that it will help.
Help them.
Now, so the question of the hour. Students today can ask ChatGPT almost anything and receive an instant answer. In such a world, what becomes the real role of a student?
See, ChatGPT can help you only if you are able to have that. Now, those words, prompt engineering. So, you should know what to prompt, and the prompting part of it is the very important essence of ChatGPT or any information thing. If you go to the subject domain, unless the individual, I mean student, unless he understands the subject, I'm not talking about there are two things to learning. One, the elementary, the basics, and next the other part where his decision making is involved. For example, to know the Newton's law of motion, there's nothing called decision making. He has to know it. But where to use Newton's law of motion, where is it used, he can seek help. Similarly, in accounts, financing you have to understand, or accounting you need to understand, where to invest your money, or what are the returns that you get on the money, or what are the risks involved. You can just, instead of talking to people, you are asking ChatGPT or some other kind. So in that sense, it will only supplement you. You can totally not dependent on that. So what I feel is, at school level, till at least to the 11th and 12th standard, they should go with whatever the basic information that's required. So I'll give an example. See, children who are first standard, second standard, if they come from Bengal, if they come from Tamil Nadu, or if a child goes to Tamil Nadu, he starts speaking the language, the whole thing will be wrong. I mean, they don't know the language. They don't know how to spell it. They don't know the meaning. But they're not shy. They're ready to learn. So by 1 or 2 years, they'll pick it up, and by next 4 or 5 years, they'll be good at. But a person who is 18 will not openly start speaking any language. So that's the difference.
Sir, if you had to design a learning fitness plan for every young person, just 5 daily habits that would make somebody a lifelong learner, what would they be?
Things like practice, focus, belief, adaptability, and acceptance. So each one, practice, is the age-old saying, practice makes man perfect. The second one, focus. You need to have that focus. Keep focusing on things that you want to achieve. The third one is, have the belief that you're cut out for that. What you have accepted, what you have practiced, you'll do it. That kind of a belief. And adaptability, the fast changing world with those technological changes, you must be ready to adapt. To quote one thing I used to always say, my chalk will talk. Adaptability doesn't mean to technology only, it can be to everything in life. Therefore, I should be ready for the changes for the good. So that's what I mean by adaptability. And lastly, acceptance. Acceptance, I mean, there's something beyond our control. There are things which, in spite of best of my efforts, I may not have done well, or I might have done well, I might not have got the recognition. But that should not deter me. Acceptance is so. Unfortunately, what has happened to us is we feel what for whatever has happened in the past too much. Acceptance is, yes, it happened. Let me move on. That's how I think.
So now I'll ask you to answer in just one sentence. Okay. My first question is, one thing that parents should worry less about.
Parents should less worry about things, should not worry about things which are uncontrollable. To be in present, not too much of the future.
And one thing parents are overlooking that they should worry more about?
Habits. See, habits is all about things. It may be their discipline in getting up, eating habits, reading habits, friends, and their free time. How do they spend their time when they are stressed up? Everything they should be looking at.
So one book every young person should read.
I was just remembering, any book is of worth. There is nothing called bad book in my opinion. And moreover, it again, different parts, stages of your life, you need different kind of learning. What I can universally tell is, read Swami Vivekananda. There's nothing. And he is the most quoted individual all over the world. And in my childhood, my 9th standard, I was crazy about Dale Carnegie, how to win friends and influence people. And such things. Later, now it's about philosophy, it's about fiction. So read anything. Not one book. Keep reading so that you get knowledge from all.
One quality AI can never replace.
Absolutely, natural intelligence. After all, AI has come through our intelligence. So human intelligence and natural intelligence. And importantly, human values. The human values.
So finish this sentence. A true learner is someone who
keeps learning, relearns, unlearns. So it's that which is very, very required.
Thank you so much, sir.
It was such a pleasure being there. And Akashvani has been our lifetime's desire to be here. Today, I think all my journey through my life, whatever knowledge I have acquired, in fact, all the skills of communication which I learned was because I was listening to the programs through All India Radio. And it's our childhood ambition, desire to be knowing about more and more about Akashvani.
Professor, thank you for reminding us that education is much more than examinations, marks, or degrees. It is about cultivating curiosity, resilience, humility, and the ability to keep learning throughout life. In a world where technology is changing almost every profession, perhaps the greatest advantage we can give ourselves is not mastering one subject, but developing the ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn. As you've beautifully demonstrated through your own journey, a single encouraging teacher, a curious mind, and the willingness to keep growing can change the course of an entire life. Thank you for sharing your experiences, your wisdom, and above all, your faith in the limitless potential of every learner. We wish you many more years of inspiring students and educators alike. Thank you for joining us. This program was brought to you by Akashvani, Bengaluru.